Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sarah and this is Vhagar. She's my 3-year-old Dutch harness horse and we are working on getting her from the kill pen to the dressage arena. For today's episode, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys her new tack setup. We've done a lot of changes. She's got a new bit, new saddle, and some other accessories, so I'm so excited to show them, and let's get into it. So I went ahead and turned Vhagar out so that she can eat grass while I show you guys all the stuff that we bought. Some stuff is new, some stuff is old, and we're just mixing it together. But if you guys remember, this is the bit I had her in first. It was just a French Lake dog bone snaffle, and the issues I was having with it is I felt like these bars were too thick for her narrow mouth. And then I also later learned that the dog bone, when I started riding, it was legal in dressage and now it's no longer legal. So either way, we needed to find a new bit, but she just wasn't happy with it. I think it was a bit too thick for her mouth. So let me show you guys what we got instead. I'm gonna toss it over there. Okay, so this is her bridle. I've already put it on. So let me move everything out of the way so you can see. But I went on to, I'm in a few different bit groups and they love these Cavallon bits. So this is a Cavallon low port Boucher bit. It's so essentially, some people also, instead of calling it a Boucher, they'll call it a drop snaffle. But it's designed to create really further pull. And then the biggest thing I was looking at is she's got a very shallow, from the top of her mouth to the top of her tongue, it's a very shallow space. So she doesn't want anything that pokes, and that's why I liked when this bit is being engaged and moved, it doesn't go anywhere to poke the top of her mouth. Whereas this bit, when you engage it, it can still go kind of high up. There's nothing preventing it from doing like a nutcracker type effect or poking the top of her mouth. Whereas this new bit, there's a break to it. And then also these O-rings, they allow a lot of movement for the bit when it's hanging in their mouth. So yeah, there's nothing really keeping it stable. And then with the Boucher bit, how it hangs in its mouth, it's not going to be moving around. And then when the reins are engaged, it actually takes pressure off the top of her head and provides, so there's no pressure anywhere but exactly where you're pulling at the bit. And then when you're not holding the reins, the side pieces help keep the bit really stable in her mouth, which, since she is such a sensitive horse, I feel like just having that stability and keeping it from wiggling around or moving a whole bunch in her mouth is really going to be the ideal setup for her. So I haven't gotten to use the bit on her yet. I did get it all set up on her bridle, so it's ready for when we ride today. But I think it'll be a good fit. It's a lot thinner. The bars are, you can see the difference. The bars are a lot thinner. I think it'll fit in her mouth a lot more comfortably than her last bit. Now let me show you guys the bigger purchase that we did. So I don't know if you guys could see it in the background when I was showing you guys the bits, but we got her a new saddle. This is an older Wintec saddle. It's a dressage saddle just like the last one, but the biggest feature that was the selling point for this saddle was that it has an interchangeable gullet system. So the gullet is this part of the saddle. And essentially, you know, some horses are wider than others. And so this part can get wider or narrower. And as horses grow, Vhagar is pretty narrow right now because she's a young horse. But as they age, they tend to get a bit thicker. So since I can change out the pieces, I'll be able to use this saddle more as she grows without having to purchase a new saddle every 6 months or a year because she's outgrown it. So just like when you're wearing workout equipment, you don't want to be running around with shoes that are too big or too small. The same thing with the saddle. You don't want a saddle that's too wide or too narrow or too big for their back. You want them to be comfortable so that they can have that full range of motion and the free movement. And the biggest issue we were having with my other saddle, which, you know, it's a great saddle, there's nothing wrong with it other than it doesn't fit Vhagar. And the difference is it's about 2 sizes wider in the front than this current plate that fits Vhagar. I can go ahead and show you guys. So there's a few different saddle brands that have these interchangeable systems. Some are with like screws and plates, and others you like twist them and they grow mechanically. But the Wintech saddles, they make it really easily. You have this tool and you put it where the saddle will sit on their back, and you just adjust it to see how wide or how narrow. And for reference, Vhagar, the saddle she was in was a medium wide, so it was about like this blue plate size. And the saddle she needed was this medium narrow. So there's a big difference in the amount of space here. And so this should help the saddle fit a lot more comfortably and not put any pressure on her withers or any of the other sensitive areas at the top of her back. So to give you guys a better visual, I went ahead and grabbed Vhagar. She's still being a baby about the lead rope, but her old saddle fit about this medium wide size. And when you look for saddle fit, you want to find the curve of their shoulder and then go about 3 fingers back. So that would be about right here. And if we're looking at that medium wide, there's still a whole bunch of extra space here that you don't want to see. So it should sit flush with their back and fit like a glove. So the size that I determined would be the best fit for Vhagar is gonna be this medium narrow. So when I go, I feel for her shoulder, I put my fingers, and she needs to straighten out her neck a little bit to show you guys better, but this is how the medium narrow would fit. It's a lot more flush with her top. And all these muscles, as she develops, as she grows, these muscles should get larger, her shoulders are gonna get wider, and that's gonna affect the fit, and it's gonna change as she grows. And that's the nice thing about this saddle, since it has the different sizes and the different plates. As she gets wider, I can just bump it up and give her more space. So I've already sized the saddle for Vhagar, but she has not been ridden it or worked in it. I want to show you guys that first. So let's get her all tacked up so you guys can see what she thinks. So I've got the saddle on, I've got it cinched up. Already I can tell it's a lot more flush with her body. The other saddle, this line, you could see it would pop up, and then if you look from the side, it's a lot more balanced. The middle of the seat is more in the middle of her back versus just not level. So I have high hopes. I think it's gonna work out with the plate that we chose, and we can make adjustments if we need to. All right, so I'm gonna start using some leg wraps. These are Polo wraps for horses, and my main goal for them is just to have them to prevent knocking on her legs. So she's a young horse, she's still kind of learning where her feet are, and these are just gonna provide a little bit of extra protection in case she does kind of knock her feet together. And it's really important with Polo wraps that you put them on the correct way. So you always want to have the tension going inwards. And this is the first time she's had wraps on, so you guys will get to see how she feels about that. And I'm just gonna wrap all the way down to the fetlock and back up. So like I said, these do provide a little bit of tendon support, but I'm looking more for the support in case when she's moving she knocks her hooves together. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap all 4 legs and I'll be right back. And just like the Polos, I'm gonna go ahead and put some bell boots on her just to protect the back bulbs of her hooves. Even though she doesn't have any shoes on, these will provide some support, as she does tend to have a pretty good reach on her hind end. So I just don't want her to accidentally clip herself and have any sort of discomfort. So she is now all tacked up. We're a little matchy-matchy today. I love royal blue on horses, so I have a lot of royal blue stuff. But she looks good. She's looking more and more like a dressage horse and less like a little backyard pony. and I'm looking forward to see what she thinks as we warm her up. I'm gonna lunge her real quick and then we'll start riding. So I just switched halters so I could take her to lunge, but this is the first time she's in boots, and sometimes they walk a little funny. So I wanna see what she thinks about having things on her legs. She's like, what are these things? Don't worry, they're for your safeties. All right, you are too cute. Yeah, she's really high stepping with the boots on. You're doing good, pony. But yeah, I mean, that's normally how they are. They're not normally scared of them. They're just like, there's something touching my leg. Now let's go this way. Scary corner. Oh, there was a deer in the corner. She's like, there's deers everywhere. She looks good. She's already, well, minus the deer scaring her. I was like, minus the deer scaring her, she was already willing to kind of stretch a little bit more.
The deer ran away.
Yeah. We scared off the deer before we got under saddle, so that's good at least. But she looks good. Her braid's getting all squiggly because her neck was stretched down when I braided it. And now that her neck is up high, it's loose. She's looking really good with the new saddle. She's willing to stretch her neck down and relax when there's not deer jumping out randomly. So I think that's a good sign. She looks a lot more comfortable. She looks willing. So let's see how she is under saddle. I'm gonna finish warming her up on both sides and giving her a chance to stretch her legs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and come back when it's time to ride. So she's all tacked up. I did add a matching fly veil to just kind of help her face with the flies. And we're gonna go ahead and see what she thinks. She's got the new bit, new saddle. Want some fist bumps? No fist bumps today. Okay. All right. So I already checked my girth, but I still like to feel it one last time before I go ahead and hop on. And it's gonna be our first time with the new saddle. All right. That was like amazing. That's some of the best she has stood for me getting on the mounting block. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give her some good scratches. She's a big fan of scratches. That was really nice. That's exactly what we've been hoping for. Go straight for the line of poles. We went and I dug out all the poles I could find that I've accumulated over the years. And she's been doing really good. Oh, that's just a cat. Now the cat is hiding in the doom corner. So scary, all the scary things. Yeah, but she looks good. She feels good. I mean, she's already willing to drop her head a little bit better, relax through her body, which she was struggling with the other bit and saddle. Just gonna kind of turn like this. She's really responsive with this bit, and she is playing with it, and I expect her to play with it a bit as she gets used to it. She's not just gaping her mouth like she was with the other bit. It's just a kitty. It's just a kitty. Ooh. I know, all the scary things. It's a kitty hunting a squirrel in the back corner. Ooh. You can look at it, and then let's see if we can come at it from a different angle. Just get forward again.
You really don't want to go there for the cat?
I think so. The cat, and that's where the deer jumped out of when we were lunging. So. we're just gotta work her through it. But she feels really good with the new setup. Like she's doing better with the contact. She's not gaping her mouth and avoiding me. Like she's willing to move out, which she was struggling with. I know, it's so scary over here. I don't know if you guys remember from before, but this was all like wild, and I've been slowly clearing it out, but she hasn't seen it cleared out this much. Well, I guess she saw it when she was turned out, but she doesn't really like to come back here that much. So it's all new. She'd probably follow you.
Look, Vhagar. Easy. A tiny human like me can do it.
Oh yes, she's like, I have the emotional support human. I'm good.
YouTube horse only follows the camera.
I have my emotional support human, my emotional support camera. All is well. All is well. She's like, I haven't been back here since like this morning when I was turned out.
She knows a camera.
Yeah. I just gotta make sure she don't freak out and run over the cameraman. But yes, I don't know if you guys can see on the sides, but we were able to get some fencing up in this back area. What was that about? Little trot and stop. Okay. We were able to get some fencing up in this back area, so Vhagar's turnout is like now 5 times the size or more. And she has this whole area, almost a full acre, to just run around and be a menace. I'm gonna work on a few transitions with Vhagar. A lot of our riding has just been done at the walk, and while I let her trot a little bit, we haven't been working on it just a ton. So I'm just gonna do a few short transitions. So I'm gonna bring her over here. I'm gonna ask her to just walk and get a nice swinging walk and have her willing to move forward. And then ask for a trot. There we go. Trot, trot, trot. And walk. Walk. There we go. So, yeah, she's a little delayed on slowing down, but that's why we have to practice it. These things are new. So we're gonna try that again. She was a little delayed. So right now I'm just trying to get her to have a nice forward walk. And just be willing to move out. And then when we get over here to this tree, trot. And then come down to a walk. It's the coming down part that's hard right now. Ooh. She also is like, I think she's wanting to just take that turn and then run back to her like stall rest area, because that's kind of what she does. So when I'm out here and I've got the dogs out with us and we're just walking around, like she doesn't really like being back here by herself. So we'll go ahead and trot. There we go. So we'll go ahead and be back here looking at things and walk. Ooh. And when she gets in that corner, like the dogs and the cat and everyone like to follow me around a ton, but she'll come join us, and she'll join us for like 30 seconds and then hightail it and just run all the way back. And then after a minute or two, she'll join again. And she just does that on repeat. She has access to this area. She can hang out here and graze, but she hasn't quite grown on being in this area yet. She needs the emotional support human for a second. It's okay. She's a baby. She's new. And you know what? That wooden pole was over here yesterday. And I don't think she came over. I didn't see her come over here this morning when she was turned out. So I think she hears the squirrels fighting. Ooh, we're not gonna run out. We're gonna walk out. We're gonna walk out nicely. Just a nice little walk. She's gonna have to get used to trail riding at some point, because that is one of my favorite things to do, is trail riding, and that's what I will probably do more than anything with her. So she's gonna have to get used to it at some point, but she's just a baby, so we're working through the babiness. Another good sign for me that the saddle is fitting and working out, if you guys remember from our last videos, the pads would always just fly off. Like we're trying to get them to stay, and they would just always not be where they were supposed to be. And today, the pad has remained where it belongs. So that's another great sign that everything is working out. Take my feet out and slowly getting more graceful. Slowly getting more graceful. But she did great. That was great.
Good job, Vhagar.
Yeah, good job, Vhagar. Well, she did really amazing. I think the new setup is working well. She's been a lot more willing with this bit to kind of lean into it and connect with me more. And the saddle, she's stretching through her body a lot easier. So I think that's a good sign for comfort, and we'll continue paying close attention to make sure that she is happy, she is comfortable. But I'm really happy with her ride. We're keeping things light and simple since she is so young. But you know, for just a quick ride, this has been wonderful. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate all your love and support. Vhagar is doing wonderful, and if you don't want to miss out on any of the fun and exciting things we have planned for the future, go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like it. And I do read all the comments, so you know, anything you guys want to share, anything you guys want to say, don't forget to drop those in the comments below. I love getting to chat with you guys there. If you guys liked Vhagar in blue, let me know. If there's a color you guys think she would look better in, drop that in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.